Happy Sabbath, church. In Romans 5, verse 8, it says, "But God demonstrated his love towards us, that while we are yet sinners, Christ died for us." So this Sabbath, we will sing, "That's the love of God."
What made God take so much care to make creation grow? He could have made it black and white, and we'd have never known. And what made God send Jesus to die on Calvary? Of course, it was this joyous thing I feel inside of me. That's the love of God, it's never ending. That's the love of God, always forgiving. He's always there, he never fails. All he will do is love forever, and he loves to share it. That's the love of God. He can change a family. He's already changed the world. When Jesus breaks into our hearts, heaven's banner is unfurled. And once you start to share it in his precious name, you're glad to see your view of life will never be the same. That's the love of God, it's never ending. That's the love of God, always forgiving. He's always there, he never fails. All he will do is love forever, and he loves to share it. That's the love of God. That's the love of God, it's never ending. That's the love of God, always forgiving. He's always there, he never fails. All he will do is love forever, and he loves to share it. That's the love of God. That's the love of God.
Thank you, Rachel and Sunshine. And now Auntie Michelle is already here. Children, come up and you will hear a beautiful story, especially from Auntie Michelle.
Good morning, children. Thank you for joining me today. So this morning, I'm going to share a very short story. It's a personal story, but before I do, I'm going to ask you all a question. Who has a pet? Oh, we all do. Lovely. What pet do you have? dog. Nice. How about you? A dog. A dog and? Oh, in the same family. Okay, a dog. Lovely. Okay, so we all have dogs. I'm sure many have dogs over there too. I'm going to show you a very cute picture. I'm not sure if this works, but... Oh, how do you go back? Okay. I have 2 chocolate Labradors. Okay, one is a female, one is a male. The female, her name is Cookie, and the male is Buddy. His name is Buddy. So I'm gonna, right there, she's doing that. They're both they look very similar. So that's the Cookie. That's Cookie right there. She's doing a pose or a little trick. She's quite chubby too. And the one in the middle there is Buddy. So Buddy, you can tell that he has a white little speck here in the middle. And that's how I can tell, because usually they look quite similar when they're standing right next to each other. But did you know that when I was little, I was probably about maybe 5 or 6, I was very scared of dogs. Very, very scared. I was petrified. And when I would see a dog, I would run. I would cry and I would run to my mum. But you know, it just got even more worse over the years, because if we were outside, for example, we were crossing the road with my mum or my dad, and if I saw a dog on the same side of the street where I was, I would not even think. I would just bolt. I would run. And once I ran across the street, not even looking side to side if there were cars. And this worried my parents, because they thought, well, how do we get her to not be scared? No matter what they said, no, dogs won't do anything to you. They're kind, they're sweet, they're very good dogs, and none will hurt you. I didn't believe them. And so my parents had an idea. They thought, well, if we just get her a puppy, then maybe she won't be so scared. Maybe she can learn how to take care of a puppy, and then eventually she won't be scared anymore. And that's what they did. So we went and found the puppy. But before that, before all of this happened, my dad bought me a huge book. It was a massive book, an encyclopedia about dogs. And in that book was just a detailed explanation of every single breed of dog. And I studied that book day and night. I was much older than 5 by then. I was about 11 or 12. And I studied every single page day and night. And I learned that the dogs were beautiful. So I was convinced. I said, okay, well, I think a puppy would be a good idea. That way I can stop being scared of them. And so when we got the puppy, at first I wasn't sure, because it was cute, it was chubby. It wasn't one of these. It was a Rottweiler cross Labrador. It was a black dog. It was tiny, and I wasn't sure how to hold it. But I thought, okay, well, let's take it home. We took it home, and we had a little bed for it and everything. But then he started to cry. He started to whine, and at night, because it was so little, it was about 7 or 8 weeks old, and it was away from its mum and all his brothers and sisters. But I remembered that in the book, it said, if you put a ticking clock, have you ever seen a clock that ticks, makes sound? Well, back then they were very common. If you put one of those underneath its bed or pillow or its sleeping area, that it would become calm, because it would almost feel like as though it could feel the heartbeat of its mum. So I did that. I remembered, because I read that in the book. And it did calm the dog down, and I was so surprised. And sometimes it wasn't so calm, and I had to go and hold it and play with it and put it back to its box where it was sleeping in the house. But I learned to love the dog. But I think if I had not studied that book and learned about what dogs needed and what they liked and how they behaved, that I would not have been able to deal with that little puppy very well. And so I'm much grown now, and I've had so many dogs over my life, including these two, and they keep me quite busy. You can ask my kids, they keep us quite busy. They're cute, but they're a bit naughty sometimes because they do tend to run away. They love to roam around our neighborhood, and we live on acreage, so they like to do that quite a bit. But what I learned from this experience was that it's quite similar with how we have a relationship with God. You see, if I hadn't learned about the dogs, about how to take care of them and how to look after them, if I hadn't researched and read on them, I would probably still be scared. I probably would have thought, oh, no, those are bad animals. I'm not going to get near them. But it wasn't like that. I learned to love them. And the same with God. Sometimes we may not know God very well, and we think that we can't come to him, that he's not approachable. But God is very approachable. We can come to him whenever we want to. We can pray to him when we have a need or when we need help. As long as we are studying God's word and we are connecting with God through prayer and study. And perhaps maybe some of you may not know how to read. I know my 2-year-old doesn't know how to read. But just even by hearing the Sabbath school lessons, or even hearing the songs that we sing in Sabbath school, they teach you about God, about who he really is. There's no need to be afraid of him, even though he is so big. We always sing that song, "My God is so big." He may be big, but he is the most loving God there ever is. And you can always come to him. And one day, your love for him will be greater than your love right now. Just like the way I learned to love a beautiful creature that I thought was a danger to me, but eventually I realized that they're not dangerous at all. They're loving dogs, unconditionally loving as well. So I just hope that could be something you could always remember. So thank you for joining me today, and you can all go back to your seats.